Hey guys, this is Tyson Kidd, and you're listening to Count It Out with Mike and Tyler.
Well, we are live, pals, and welcome to the post Whoa Wrestlemania edition of the Bill Apter Seal of Approved. Count It Out with Mike and Tyler. My name is Tyler. I am joined, as always, by the one and only Mojito Mike. Mike, we weren't going to do this show, and then the wrestling world just said, holy shit, we got to do a show this week.
No, we weren't. We were going to take a second week off. We put 2 shows in the can in Windsor. We have a really fun show ready for you guys to go. But then
Next week,
but then WrestleMania happens. And you know, it's not like we didn't know WrestleMania was happening, but we're like, oh, we can wait a week to talk about WrestleMania. You know, it's fun. No, not. Well, I'll give my opinion in a minute, but because of how I feel about WrestleMania, it couldn't hold on another week. Not to mention a few other things we're going to talk about, including, you know, the sale of WWE and all this stuff that just happened in the last few days. We couldn't push it off. So we have a super fun show lined up for you next week. But today we had to talk about WrestleMania and everything else in the world of professional wrestling today.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to count down my top 7 favorite matches from WrestleMania. I think that's kind of a fun way to talk about the show because
from WrestleMania 39.
Yes, from this year's WrestleMania that happened. And I think I might try to make this a little yearly tradition. I kind of think this is a fun way to recap WrestleMania without doing it, you know, the way that we always do it. This match was this. And like, let's just talk about the hits, baby.
Let's do it.
But before we do that, I want to throw to you, Mike. We had some very sad news in the world of wrestling. We lost the legendary bushwhacker Butch, one half of the sheep herders, one half of the bushwhackers. And I know this one kind of hit you a little bit different, Mike. So I want to kind of give you the floor and just kind of say your feels, man.
Yeah, this one, I mean, we all have the ones that hit us a little bit harder than the others, right? You know, it's never easy when you lose a professional wrestler, when you guys like us been watching wrestling your whole life. It doesn't matter who it is. When you lose a wrestler, it always kind of sucks. But there's more that hits a little closer to the heart than others. And just like when we lost Jay Briscoe earlier this year, when we lost Jay, I didn't say a word. I kept it all to myself, and I let it all out on the show because I just think words, there was just no words at the moment. Same thing with Butch, because Butch, to me, this is different. A few weeks ago here on the show, I talked about my very first indie show ever, which was 25 years ago last month, where I met Adam Colton for the first time. Well, another thing that happened that night was I saw Luke and Butch, the Bushwhackers, that night. Not only did I get to see them wrestle against the Suicide Blondes, Christian Cage and Martin Kane, but I got to have dinner with them. I had a private dinner. It was me, 3 of my best friends, and Luke and Butch. And they were 2 of the nicest guys because I grew up. I think it's fair to say, you're probably going to agree with me. I think anybody who is a big wrestling fan who was born anybody who was born before the year of 1985 grew up a Bushwhackers fan. You know what I mean? That they could be, they really, especially in WWF, they lean towards the kids. If you were a kid in the early 80s, early 90s, or late 80s, early 90s, you were a Bushwhackers fan. How could you not be a Bushwhackers fan, right? So by the time I'm 16 in 1998, I'm meeting 2 of the guys I looked up to as a kid. One of the coolest things in the world. I'll tell a quick story that makes it that much harder for me to lose Butch, because we're sitting down for dinner and we're talking, and finally my best friend at the time, Dean, he has enough. He's been holding this in all night. He can't do it anymore. And he looks right at Luke and he says, Luke, on TV, it looks like you have no teeth. He's like, but you have teeth sitting right in front of me. Butch starts laughing his ass off. And Butch starts punching Luke in the shoulder. He goes, show him. So Luke pulls out his fucking teeth right there at the fucking dinner table, and he gives this big smile. He goes, and then Butch looks us right in the face. He goes, "He ain't so pretty, is he?" That was 25 years ago, and it might as well have been yesterday. That's how well I remember it. They were sitting there having dinner with a bunch of 16-year-old kids, having the time of their lives. Fuck us having the time of their lives. They were having a good time. They were nothing but consummate professionals. They were nothing but good to us fans. And I'm gonna miss. I already missed the Bushwhackers as a team, but I'm gonna. It's sad knowing that we'll never see Butch on a con, or selfishly knowing that I can't book Butch on this show. It's hard because this is a great memory for me. Butch and Luke were the first wrestlers I ever met on one of the most important nights of my life. The first indie show I ever went to. So I'm gonna miss Butch, and we give nothing but our condolences to his family and to the family of Luke, of course.
Absolutely. I don't think there's anything I can say that will top that. So I don't know if you want.
I will say one more thing. And I want to know what you feel. I was in my 20s by the time I discovered the Sheepburgers. Did you know about the Sheepburgers when you were a kid?
I didn't know, not when I was a kid. I knew about them before my 20s, but I was late to the party on the Sheepherders as well, because I grew up on the Bushwhackers, right?
Exactly.
When they came in the WWF, I was 5 years old.
And can we just put down a couple things here? The Sheepburgers. What a fucking team. You go look at some of the Sheepburgers matches. We might put a couple up on some of our social media, because the Sheepburgers had some tremendous, like, if you only know the Bushwhackers as that goofy, licking the fans, and that's great. But you want to see them wrestle? You want to know how they got those scars in their fucking foreheads? Go watch a couple Sheepburgers matches. They had amazing stuff.
Big runs all over the world too. Mid-South Wrestling, Stampede Wrestling. They were draws everywhere. And
last thing I'll say is, you and I discuss a lot recently, for some reason. You and I discuss a lot the criteria of the greatest tag teams of all time. And a lot of things come up, draw power, skill in the ring, stuff like that. Accomplishments as in titles and championships, and this all is well and good. And for all that, the Bushwhackers aren't in the conversation. We're going to be perfectly honest for that. Not in the top 10 or anything like that. But if you want to talk popularity, just pure popularity, you got to talk about the Bushwhackers. The Bushwhackers were one of the most popular tag teams in the 80s and 90s. And I think that alone puts them at least in my top 40 of all time.
And they're also responsible for one of Bobby the Brain Heenan's greatest lines of all time. Oh, no, that was the Iron Sheik. Never mind. But they were in that Gimmick Battle Royal, which was great. They had a big pop at the Gimmick Battle Royal. Yeah, the Bushwhackers, man. Like I said, I
remind me, was it Luke or Butch who had the record in the Royal Rumble before?
Butch. Butch had the
record. It was Butch.
No, sorry, it was Luke. Sorry, it was Luke.
Oh, okay. All right. But still, great moment for the Bushwhackers.
I think the best way to close out on this, and you can indulge me if you'd like on this, Mike, but follow along at home if you want, kids. Whoa! Yeah, the Bushwhackers, get the march going. As Jesse Ventura would call them, the marching morons. I loved it.
You're lucky you're not here doing this live with me tonight.
Oh God! All right, there's a little wrestling show this week. It's called Wrestlemania.
Let's go to some happier news.
Before we count down my top seven favorite matches from Wrestlemania, you and I talked off air a little bit about Wrestlemania, not in too detail, but
sure did.
Is it safe to say that this is one of the best WrestleManias of all time?
Top 5.
Top
I'm
5.
not fucking around. I'm not fucking around. Top 5 for me.
I've heard people give this mixed reviews because there was
See,
a lot of people are
because we
pissed because there's no Stone
yeah,
Cold,
yeah,
no
yeah.
Rock, no Taker. Guys, let it go.
Then go on WWE Network, bring up a fucking pay-per-view from 1997 and have a fucking go.
Yeah.
Those guys are done. They're done. I love the nostalgia as much as the next fucking guy, but let's pay attention to what's going on right now. You're the same people that bitch and fucking whine. Oh, why are they giving all the everything to the part-timers? And then you bitch that the part-timers aren't there. Shut the fuck up. Enjoy the goddamn show. We've said this on this show 1,000 times. I'm gonna say it again. Nobody hates wrestling more than wrestling fans.
Yep.
And it's fucking bothersome.
Yes.
There was nothing wrong with the show. You want to complain because you didn't like the finish of Cody and Roman? Sure.
We'll get
complain. Go for it. But you want to rate this match for match. Tell me a bad match on this fucking card. Tell me one.
there. Yeah, I mean, like the Miz stuff wasn't great, but other than that was
The Miz stuff. I thought the Miz stuff with Pat was great.
Yeah, it was okay. Like I could have done. Like I would have.
I'm a Pat McAfee mark, man.
Me
It was
too.
nice to see him come back and do that thing with the Miz, and I liked it.
Well, what do you think? You want to hear what
I think Michael Cole forgot that he was the world's biggest Miz marker just 10 so years ago. But
well, I mean, he's the biggest Pat McAfee mark for sure.
he is.
You want to hear what I thought were the 7 best matches at WrestleMania?
Yeah, I do.
Number 7, we're going with Logan Paul versus Seth freaking Rollins.
Yeah.
Logan Paul did it again, man. He put on another great, another great performance by Logan Paul. I thought both their entrances were great. I thought the spot with whoever that YouTube guy was great. Seth looked great, comes out strong in the end. Logan never needs to win a wrestling match. He's just Logan, and people are cool with that. Like I thought this was one of those matches that it will get lost in the shuffle because there was a lot of stuff that was really, really good, but this held its own.
And it will get lost in the shuffle of history.
Yeah.
I feel. But if we're just talking about WrestleMania 39, we're talking about what happened this past weekend. This match needs to be talked about. Logan Paul in 2023 needs to be talked about. Seth freaking Rollins in 2023 needs to be talked about. I hope people aren't sleeping on Seth thinking that he's just there in the mid card. Seth's not done. No. Seth is not even close to the pinnacle of his fucking prime. He will be back to the main event spot. He will be. We're going to see Seth and Cody fucking ripping it down. We're going to see Seth and Roman again. We're going to see Seth and everybody. Yeah. Don't give up on Seth yet.
All right, my number 6, we are going to the Raw Women's Championship match, Bianca Belair versus Asuka. I thought these women tore the house down. Mike, what did you think of this one?
Of course they did. Are you surprised? I'm not surprised they had a great match. I am surprised, not disappointed, but surprised that Bianca went over. I had my money on Asuka. What was your thoughts on the finish?
I also did think Asuka was going to go over, but I'm okay that she didn't because I think Bianca's doing something really cool. But I'm like, this is going to sound hilarious because I bitched about this for years and years, but I'm kind of like ready for a little bit of shorter, like not every title reign has to be over a year. You know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of happening right now with the majority of the championships in the WWE. But they're all great reigns.
Because Luke was in charge. Well, up until yesterday, Luke was in charge. Triple H has been in charge for this whole time. And Triple H is very, very, very old school.
Yeah.
Triple H loves those old 1970s Bruno Sammartino reigns, you know what I mean? So I'm not surprised.
And that being said, though, all the reigns have been very good, so I'm not complaining about it. But I did think that
look at these reigns. You know, Bianca's doing great, Roman's doing great, Walter's doing great.
Yeah,
100%.
The Usos, right?
The Usos.
They had a long one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought these girls tore the house down. They had enough time. They built a great match. It started a little slow, and they really built into something special. And yeah, I just thought they tore the house down.
I couldn't agree more.
And that's going to take me
It
right
was
to
hard
number...
hitting. It was hard hitting.
Yeah.
It was hard hitting. It was entertaining. It's everything I wanted. Asuka looked great.
Yeah.
Her fucking her entrance, very very, I want to say Muda-esque.
Yeah, a little kabuki in there too.
You know what I mean? Yeah, loved it.
Yeah, and something else I loved was my number 5, and that was Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio.
I was wondering where you're going to put this. I would have had it in the 5 or 4 spot. I love this match. Again, you and I have been singing the praises of the storyline all year. This is one of the best. Again, I gotta probably give praise to Triple H here for going for the old school, long drawn out storylines. They've been doing this for quite a fucking while now.
But the creativity behind this too, right?
Just amazing. That entrance, how good was that entrance?
Well, both their entrances were great, but I mean, even before that, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Valentine's Day, all these sketches were just phenomenal. And Dominic, Ray finally snapping, sticking up for his wife, I thought was great. Ray coming out to Eddie's music, I thought was beautiful.
How good was it? And having Snoop drive him out in the lowrider, doing the lie, cheat, and steal music, but still getting the booyaka. I loved every part of it.
I liked all the interference as well. I know some people might not have, but I thought it was perfect because it's match 1. You know what I mean? So this story isn't done yet. And we see Bad Bunny more involved now, which is great. That'll probably lead to something at Backlash. So
who was that other guy that got involved?
The LWO guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
because I'm not watching the product a whole lot. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Ray brought back the LWO.
What do you think of that? What do you think of that story, bringing back the LWO? Do you think
I like
that goes anywhere?
You know what? I think it helps those guys out a lot. Yeah. As Los Ingro, I don't know what their faction was called. I don't know much about them, but they weren't standing out.
All right, so a couple technical difficulties there. I apologize about the quick cuts there. Wi-Fi is not cooperating, but I'm back.
If Tyler does not sound the way he usually does, he's not on his fantastic Yeti microphone. He is sitting in his car, doing this via his cell phone. Anything for the show, buddy?
Anything for the show, brother. I'm in heat with the wife. I'm in my car doing this. I'm sick. I got to be up in a couple hours, as do you. Anything for the show.
I am still sitting out. I'm still sitting at work. My fucking night cleaner just walked in. I'm like, oh shit, it's late. But yeah, we're gonna do it because for the show, buddy. For the show, we are at your number 4.
Number 4. Actually, before we move on, I just want to ask one more question about Ray and Dom. Do you think Ray should have won?
I don't think there's a right answer to this. I would have been good either way. Because it's not a one and done. I'm okay with Ray winning. I'm either way. I'm okay, man. Ray winning. I'm okay.
I have a fantasy booking.
Okay.
I am very happy Ray won because I think we are going to continue this rivalry. I think that we are going to get a blow-off match at some point. I don't think Ray is going to be sticking around much longer in the world of wrestling.
I think we're going to get a massive, and I mean massive, I think we're going to get a tremendous match at SummerSlam.
I think it should be mask versus hair or like something like that. You know what I mean?
Something like that, yeah.
I think that I don't care who wins. I think maybe Dominic should win.
I think Dominic should win the feud, or it'll be the end of the Judgment Day. It'll be him going back to his dad, seeing the error of his ways.
That's what I want to see happen. I want to see Dominic beat Ray for his mask, and before Ray gives him the mask, Judgment Day gets involved, and Dominic is like, "Yo, this is a big moment for my dad."
And before they get involved, I want to see Ray. Because we haven't seen Ray unmasked since WCW, right?
Yeah.
I want to see Ray take that mask off on live television, hand it to Dominic, and then the weight of the situation finally falls in Dominic. You know what I mean?
See,
Being
I'm
like,
the
oh,
opposite of you.
I'm looking in my father's eyes, his real eyes, not his mask, I'm looking at my father's face for real, and I can see the hurt in his eyes. I want to see that.
I want the opposite. I want the face turn to happen before Ray takes his mask off, and I want the passing of the torch to be Ray taking his mask off and handing it to his son, and I want Dom to start wearing the mask going forward.
I want Dom to start wearing the mask, but not until Ray officially retires.
Yeah.
There are certain rules and traditions in the luchador culture.
Yes.
And Ray and Dominic, according to the rules and traditions, Dominic hasn't earned his mask yet.
No.
So once Ray is ready to pass his mask on, yes, I want to see that happen. Ray has made it very clear, however, that he's not going to retire until he's probably about 50.
Yeah, well, we'll see, right?
We'll see.
Anyways, two people that I could watch until I'm 50 fight is my number 4.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to the SmackDown Women's Championship match, Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair.
I'm glad you put this above the Raw Women's Championship, because I do think this was just a little bit better. As much as I loved Asuka and Bianca, I think this match was the better match.
I think this match blew it out of the water, and that's not a knock on the other girls.
It's not a knock at all. But also, there's something we saw in this match that I think is so fucking special. We saw I truly believe we saw a torch getting passed tonight on that night.
Yeah,
I think we saw Charlotte blatantly telling us, the fans, Rhea Ripley is the best women's wrestler in the world right now. Charlotte told that story. Rhea didn't have to tell that story. Charlotte told that story. She let us know Rhea is the best now. I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
I also think that Charlotte Flair solidified herself as the greatest women's wrestler of all time at WrestleMania.
I am not going to argue with that. And there's going to be so many fucking haters that are going to argue with that. Rob, people that hate Charlotte for absolutely no reason. Rob,
Listen,
but
you can hate her all you want. She's the best.
She is the greatest women's wrestler in the history of professional wrestling. You can give me all this horse shit you want all day long. She's only in her position because of who her dad is. Fuck that. She's in her position because she's the most talented women's wrestler that we have seen in 50 fucking years. That's why she's in her position. And she used her position as the greatest women's wrestler to put over the next greatest women's wrestler.
Yep.
We are going to be talking about Rhea Ripley in a few years the same way we're talking about Charlotte right now. Rhea Ripley is the future of women's wrestling, the way that Charlotte was the way that Charlotte, Becky, and Bailey and Sasha were several years ago. What they were there. That's Rhea and Bianca right now.
Yeah, 100%.
They are the best in the world at what they do. I am not going to use this platform to shit on any of the other companies, but nobody's holding a candle to those two women. I love Jordan Grace, and I think Jordan Grace is in the conversation. I love Deonna Purrazzo, and she's in that conversation. I am a big fan. Believe it or not, I know I'm the fucking anti-AEW guy, but I'm a big fan of Britt Baker. She could be in the conversation. But they're not Bianca Belair, and they're not Rhea Ripley right now. None of them are.
I think if they're smart at SummerSlam, they book Rhea and Ronda and have Rhea go over Ronda.
Yeah.
Or Bianca. It doesn't matter. Either one.
It doesn't matter. Either or. They go over. Either one of them go over Ronda, and it makes them. Yeah. Before we move on, do you feel they wasted Ronda this year?
No, because where else are you gonna put her?
I don't know. I just I'm
And
not a
she's hurt.
Shayna. I'm not a Shayna Baszler fan.
No, I'm not huge either. But Ronda's hurt also, right?
Yeah, well, okay. If she's nursing an injury, putting her in a tag match makes sense.
Yeah, basically all she did was an armbar. So
yeah, I guess I'm just so used to her being, she's the equivalent. Like, if we have big match John, we had big match Ronda.
Yeah,
that's what I'm used to seeing from her, and to see her in such a smaller position was weird. Let's just say.
Yeah, but it's good to give her a break from that main event picture too. It's the same thing Becky's doing right now, right? Like,
yeah,
they don't always have to be the top of the card. It's nice to shift.
I think Becky was in a great position this year.
Me too. I love that match, and it almost made my list.
Becky was aligned with two of the greatest and most popular. That's one thing you can't take away from them. We can call Charlotte the greatest women's wrestler of all time, but she's definitely not the most popular. Lita and Trish, the two most popular women's wrestler in the history of professional wrestling.
Also,
bar none.
Also, two of the most hated women's wrestlers of all time because they had great heel runs as well.
In their positions, yes, absolutely, you're not wrong. Where Charlotte's heat was probably closer to X-Pac heat than it was Trish heat.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. I really
but aligning her in that position with those two legendary females, I think was nothing but great for Becky. I think it was great,
especially if we're gonna get a Trish and Becky match, which is the rumor, right?
I'm down for that.
I would love that. Yeah,
of course.
I really had a hard time though between my number 4 and my number 3. I flip flopped this match back and forth, but my number 3, I went with the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Championship match.
Okay.
The Usos versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
So your top 3 are difficult because there were 3 matches that all could contend for number 1.
Yes.
As far as I'm concerned. And I know you well enough to know that all 3 of those matches that I'm thinking in my head are your top 3. What is the order? I don't know. But it doesn't really matter because all 3 to me, it's a 3-way tie for number 1. So I don't care what your order is because to me it's not one better than the other. This match,
I would say with the top 4 because that women's match for me, yes. I put right in there as well.
If I put a gun to my head and make me do a list though, and I'm putting this as my number 3 as well, because from an in-ring standpoint, it was great. Not fucking nominal like some other matches we might talk about, but it was great. What did it for me?
It got a little spotty, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It got a little super kicky and a little holy fucking false finishes. Like
what did it for me? What did it for me was the emotion. Was the storytelling, which all 4 men are tremendous at, and the nostalgia. You and I are both big Ring of Honor fans, so to see Steven and Generico come back for another fucking title run, fucking sign me up, bro.
100%.
I want you to say on air, and I've had time to think about this, and I'm going to tell you right now that I agree with you 1,000%. I want you to tell me what you said off air about the Usos.
I think after WrestleMania, I don't think that there's a debate or an argument anymore that the Usos are the greatest tag team in WWF/WWE history.
When you first said those words to me, I had a hard time with it. I did. Because it was come on, shut the fuck up. Look at the Hart Foundation, look at the Dudleys, look at ENC, but when you sit down, when you think about it, when you really fucking think about it, you think about the matches, you think about the accomplishments, you think about everything, you're not wrong. The Usos, I don't know if they're the greatest tag team in wrestling history. I think the Road Warriors might have something to say about that. Uh, But are they the greatest tag team in the history of the WWF/WWE? I am not going to sit here and argue with you.
Breaking news also, before we continue this conversation, Mike, we just got absolute confirmation that you'll be sitting down and talking to Sami Callihan very shortly.
Woo! Oh, Doyle rules.
Stay tuned for that one, folks. That's breaking news. As we just got an email right now live on air.
Did Ross just email you right now?
Correct.
Ross, what are you doing up at 12:17 in the morning? Come on, bud.
But anyways, back to the Usos. Yes, I'm not saying they're the greatest tag team of all time, because you look at teams that have traveled the world, that have drawn money everywhere, that have won belts everywhere.
You got to talk about the Road Warriors. You got to talk about the Rock and Roll Express. There's teams to be talking about.
But the Usos are in that conversation.
But now, and that's where people are going to be like, well, blah, 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 the Dudleys, blah, 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 the Hardys. Listen, if we're just talking WWF, you're correct.
Yes.
Usos over the Dudleys. But if we're talking about professional wrestling, that's a different conversation. That's a different conversation, because now you're putting in the Dudleys TNA run, you're putting in the Dudleys, you're putting in the Hardys indie run, ROH run,
there's a lot of body of work to look at there. But the Usos are definitely in that conversation as well of the greatest tag team of all time. They're in the conversation now.
They're in the top 10. Yeah.
To be in the tag team, and I'm not going to sit here and take away from Owens and Sami Zayn, and especially the role that Sami's been on and the work that he's done. Those guys earned their place in that main event. But for the Usos, who have been a legitimate tag team for the better part of almost 20 years of the WWE now, or 15 years, however long it's been, for them to main event at WrestleMania as the tag team champions, which is a title that has never had much respect in that company since the 90s, probably. That's a big feat.
When was the last time it was really fucking focused on? I mean, I don't know.
The New Days had good runs with it and recently, but the Usos are just fired on a different cylinder. And for them to main event WrestleMania, I just, the tag team wrestling lover of me, just warmed my heart.
So I have a question for you.
Yes.
You're 2 and you're 1.
Yes.
You can go one way or you can go the other. I know what they are. But I don't know what the order is. Do you go as a wrestling, and I mean an in-ring wrestling fan, or did you go in as a storyline fan?
I went in with both.
I tried
to look at this from the whole package from start to finish.
What's your number 2? You'll have to read. Okay, go ahead.
My number 2 is I went into this as the whole package. I tried to look at this from start to finish, from a wrestling standpoint, a story standpoint, just how I felt after watching the matches. My number 2 is the WWE Universal Championship, Undisputed Championship match.
Okay.
I went with Cody, and I went with Roman as my number 2.
Okay. We can quickly discuss this after the show, or after the list, but I'll tell you, you went the opposite of me. I understand what you've done, but this would have been my number 1 and I'll tell you why. I told you this off air, and I think you agreed with me. You can tell me on air if you agreed with me or not. I think that on Sunday night, we saw Roman Reigns' greatest match of his career.
Yes, I agree.
I don't think he's had a better match. ever.
And I don't think I've seen a better Intercontinental Championship match than I saw on Sunday.
Well, don't bury the lead here, brother.
Well, I mean, we know what the number one is. Come on. Come on. But that being said, this match was everything I wanted in a professional wrestling match at War. This was a great main event to WrestleMania. I'm not the person that's going to sit here and complain that Cody lost.
Okay, here's the big question. Me too. And not because I don't like Cody. I want to see the story go on. Roman goes over, and then what? Cody now can go on. He's gonna do this program with Lesnar. He's gonna come out of the program with Lesnar, smelling like fucking roses. He's gonna go up against fucking Roman at WrestleMania, or I'm sorry, at SummerSlam, being the guy who slayed the beast again, and he's gonna win the championship. Not from the man who held the championship for 970 some days, but from the man who beat Pedro Morales' fucking record and is the 4th longest reigning champion in history. That is what I want to fucking see, and I'm glad they made the decision to go that route.
The money is in the chase. There's nobody ready for Cody right now, anyways. And everyone's gonna be like, oh, Seth Rollins. You know what I mean?
You got Seth, and you got Seth, Sammy, and Kevin. Those are the only 3 guys even close to ready for that yet.
Who are all
and that's it.
You know what I mean? Let's not rush it.
No.
Cody just came back. Cody doesn't have to win the Royal Rumble and win WrestleMania. I think the fans turn on Cody if that happens eventually.
Exactly. I think they made the right decision. Everybody's doing this whole thing. Oh, Triple H is burying Cody. Fuck you.
I laughed at that. I did laugh at those scenes. Those were funny though. It was the one picture where Cody's in front of the throne and they're like, Triple H never forgot. I thought that was funny. I know it's not true. I just thought it was really funny. But Cody as an underdog, chasing the title, going through Brock, having to go through Sol Siaki, and then going to Roman at SummerSlam in Detroit, where his dad has a huge history of working. And I just think it's special.
Speaking of Solo, before we move on to number 1, I want to talk to you about something. I want you to tell me. You told me you had a problem with the finish of this match. Tell me that problem, and then I want to play devil's advocate.
Well, and the word problem is strong. Because I thought that Cody looked great. He had Roman dead to rights, and there was no question about it. That was going to be a title change. That's the third, it's the second time we've seen a finish like that with Solo. Yeah. We've also seen a finish like that with the Usos recently. Mm-hmm. And I don't mind the finish. I like it. I like that they're involved in the bloodline, but I just don't think it needs to be every match.
Okay. Let me play devil's advocate. I discussed earlier what I like about Triple H's mentality, going back to long-term storytelling. What if, and I could be wrong, but play along with me here. What if this is long-term storytelling for Solo to build Solo as a star in the future? 100%. When Roman when it's finally time to end this, because not everything lasts. Everything can't last forever. Eventually, the bloodline is going to end. When it's time to cut ties on the bloodline, you can have Solo look Roman dead in the fucking eyes and say, every fucking time that you got a victory is because of me. He can look at the Usos. Every victory you have is because of me. I am the bloodline. And then he looks at Roman and says, I'm the head of the table. Acknowledge me. Because I'm the reason you're I'm the reason you were the champion for over 1,000 days. That's what I want to fucking see. And because that ending keeps happening over and over and over again, it leads to that storyline, right?
Or you build Solo up like a monster throughout the summer, and you have him be Cody's first challenger after Roman.
Absolutely. But like I'm saying, if you ever want to turn him face, this is where you go by saying, like, I'm using this as a way to justify your quote unquote problem with the same ending over and over again. This is how you justify that, by saying
I get it, but
I did this. I'm the reason that you're still a champion because I kept helping you.
it also could set up a gimmick match for SummerSlam, like no outside interference, because there's a lot of it, right? So
Yeah.
like the Usos, like it could set up a gimmick, a Hell in a Cell or a cage.
I do like the little swerve they put in where they kicked Solo out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought
Solo was
that was
kicked
well
out,
done as well.
and then he came back wearing a hoodie. I like that. I like it a lot.
I like the way they did it 100%, and I really did like the finish overall. I just don't want it to become a theme.
And you can agree with me. I think everybody can agree with me. They made Cody look fucking strong.
100%.
Okay, Cody did not look weak coming out of this. He put the fucking what's his finisher? The
Crossroads.
The Crossroads. Thank you. He put that on him like what 3 fucking times to finish him off.
And Roman was limp, but he looked great. So what do you think about Brock and Cody then? A lot of people are shitting on it. I love it personally.
I like it. I like it a lot because
I need a good reason why it's happening though. I need a good explanation from Brock.
So I'm gonna tell you something that a lot of wrestling fans don't like to hear anymore. Wait for it. Have some patience.
No, I'm excited, man. I'm excited for Raw next week.
This is my problem with wrestling fans today. Everybody wants immediate gratification. Whoa, why do you do that? Why? What? Tell me now. Fucking tell me now. No,
I don't want that. I don't want to know now.
I'm not saying it's you. I'm saying that's 90% of fucking wrestling fans. They want immediate gratification. That's not what I want. I want long-term story building. I want to wait. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out why Brock turned heel. We're gonna find out why Brock did what he did to Cody. And then you know what we're gonna get? We're gonna have Cody slay the fucking beast, and then Cody's gonna go up against, because that's what Brock's job is now. We know Brock's on his last legs. Brock's on his way out, and Brock's gonna put a couple people over on his way out. Brock is gonna put over Cody in a big fucking way, and then when Cody goes up against Roman, most likely at SummerSlam, he's going to go up against
bigger.
He's much bigger because he just beat Brock fucking Lesnar. Yep. Now, you and I discussed offline. I know you don't think the beating Brock Lesnar is as big as it used to be, but it's still fucking big.
It is, but he's done a lot of jobs over the last 5 years.
But it's his job right now.
But this is a different Brock Lesnar though than that time period too.
He looked insane last night.
Yeah, and if they roll with that monster Brock, I think that people will forget very quickly about those jobs.
Yeah.
Number 1, baby, IC title match, triple threat.
I'm not mad at it. My number 1 would have been Cody and Roman, just because I'm a storytelling guy more than anything else. So I love that match. But from a pure absolute fucking banger of the match, this is the greatest Intercontinental Championship match. Oh my God, this hurts me to say because WrestleMania 8 has such a fucking special fucking thing in my life. But I think I finally found an Intercontinental Championship match at WrestleMania to beat WrestleMania 8 as my favorite IC title match at WrestleMania.
This match was like, apparently apparently I just like watching 3 hosses just beat the fuck out of each other because this match was awesome.
It
had such great drama too. Like,
thank you. It wasn't just like, okay, because it easily could have just been like 72 chops and then we're done. But it wasn't.
And it was, but we weren't done.
But it wasn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
this was a beautiful match. And when I was finished watching WrestleMania, and I love Cody and Roman, and I agree with everything you said about Cody and Roman. But when I sit back and I was finished watching WrestleMania, the match that just stuck in my head as one of the greatest matches I've ever seen, like in history. Like This is one of my top maybe 10 to 15 favorite wrestling matches of all time. This match was everything, man. It's what stuck out for me, and it's why I gave it the very slight nod over Cody and Roman.
This is a WrestleMania wrestling match.
Yeah.
Every WrestleMania has to have that one match where you're just like, forget the flamboyance, forget the gravitas, forget everything else. You just want to watch the wrestling, and that was that for WrestleMania 39.
That's my list, man. Honorable mention to the Hell in a Cell. It just I wasn't as big on it as you were.
Honorable mention to every match we didn't talk about.
Yeah, I really want to shine on the men's tag team match as well, the 4-way tag team match.
The one match I didn't watch because I hate Braun Strowman.
So do I, but I really recommend watching this one. I've never seen somebody get hit harder in my entire life than when Angelo Dawkins laid out Braun Strowman. He killed him.
Honorable mention to Cena and Theory.
That was not bad.
You have a problem with that match? Where'd you go? Oh, yeah.
It was perfect for what it needed to be.
Exactly. It got Theory over. It didn't. It got, and Theory can't go over clean on John. He can't. It was perfect. I loved it.
I agree. And you know that's Mania. Real quick, because I'm coming to the end of my journey here in my car, which is crazy, and my dog
I have
is
to
going
pee
to go
so
wild.
bad.
Real quick, then, can you hold it for 5 seconds or no?
Yeah, just go.
Vince McMahon sold the WWE. We'll talk more in detail about that next week.
No, we won't.
Big
Because,
story.
no, in 2 weeks. Because next week is a very special show for you guys. I'll spoil it right now. You guys, what you're getting next week is a WrestleUnion reunion. That's hard to say.
WrestleMedia?
Oh yeah. Sorry. A WrestleMedia reunion. Yes.
But I know you got to pee, and it's late for us.
Let's talk about that sale really quickly. Vince McMahon sold 51% of WWE for $9.3 billion. 51% for $9.3 billion. And guess what? Not only did he not leave the fucking company, he's now the big man in fucking charge again, in charge of everything. He came out smelling like roses. Fuck the WWE right now. I'm still going to watch it because I'm a fucking mark, but I'm pissed.
Yeah, in this day and age for Vince McMahon, I said this to you earlier today, in this day and age for Vince McMahon to do what he did, how he did it, and not be cancel cultured and come out stronger.
It's
the
ridiculous.
guy is
it's ridiculous.
Insane.
It just tells you right now what money does for you. It's money. It's nothing else. It's just money. Money.
What's that line out of Anchorman when the dog ate all the cheese? I'm impressed. I'm not condoning it when I say that. I've never seen anybody beat the system like Vince, and
ridiculous.
It's something else, man.
I hate it more than I hate his fucking mustache.
Oh, Gomez Adams.
Okay. I'm happy
Take us home, brother.
On behalf of needing to pee more than I ever have in my life, I drank. Holy fuck! I drank 9 ounces of rye during the show. I have to pee so bad. Let's go and have to pee.
Let her out, brother.
But like, subscribe, do all that, please. That stuff, please. We need you. And go to IWTV and check out Bear Wrestling and Destiny Wrestling. Other than that, we love you. We'll see you next time. We'll be back the way you want us in 2 weeks. But next week, enjoy us chilling out with Adam, Drew, Matt, and Danny for the WrestleMania reunion. We hope you have fun with that. It's a shit joke, but it's fun.
Cheers.
I thought I said Tyler. All right, cheers. Love you all. We've been counting out. Bye.
Cheers.